Heard of that.
Hello, folks. We're here for not Wildcard Wednesday this Wednesday, but strong lagers. And then I was going to say next month I had an idea, but then Jesse with Bumpy Road Brewery had a much better idea, which is your favorite beers to drink during the fall, the October season, harvest time. I said, yeah, that's a good idea. So I'm in Louisiana, and me. I have Steel Reserve, talking about Steel Reserve, I have Steel Reserve 211 Silver Can. This is not the original from 1998. No, this is the 2003 edition, which was known as Steel 6 for like 10 minutes. And if you can find one of those cans and bottles, you got something there. That would be a collector's item. But this is the 6% version, which is sold in some states. I've got a Best By date of January 2020, which is real good because we're in September. And, well, it's the only one we get in Louisiana. We don't get the black label and we don't get the 8%. Just get this high gravity 6% lager. And that has been the case since it came out in 03. So for 16 years. Now, out west, we got the Whiskey Scout in Kansas and the Great Plains, and he has Natural Father.
Natty Daddy 8%. $1.39 of something.
Yeah, you can get it pretty cheap. Now, that Natural Father, about 4 years ago, they did come out with a 6% version as, I think, a test market. Didn't catch on. I didn't think it tasted very good. It had a strange flavor, and it went away as quick as it showed up. They had the same label. It just says 6 on it. But the 8% is the popular one. And I made up the nickname for it called the Natural Father. John Rathjen says, cheers from sunny Northern California. Hello, John Rathjen. Thanks for watching. Now, I'm in Louisiana, so we're going to head up the East Coast to the Atlantic, mid-Atlantic states, and in Brooklyn, New York City, in the state of New York, the Empire State. We have Michael Komaroff with his
Sierra Nevada Oktoberfest 2019 edition, collaboration with Bitburger, and it's a straight 6%.
Yes.
So trying to read the goodbye date, which usually is on the neck of the Sierra Nevada bottle, but I do not able to read it or can't see it. So I know it has to be within the date.
Yeah, that's not going to be an issue because they just hit the market in late July and probably more likely in August. So it should be right where you need it. Craft Beer Pours says, cheers, beer drinkers. My attitude is, where are you, Craft Beer Pours? Join us. We beg you to join us. Now we have Sean H. Pierre from Alabama on the Gulf Coast.
Hey, John.
Hi, John.
Hey, guys. How are y'all? Good day, good day, good day. Hopefully you guys had a great Labor Day weekend. Hopefully it was fun and productive and lots of drinking and watching football. Of course, at home doing that, not out about on town.
Yeah, well, my Labor Day consisted of me working for over 8 hours. So,
Okay.
Scruffy's the janitor says, just poured course banquet from the tap, 29 degrees Fahrenheit, cost me $1.06 per 16 ounce. G&JK said, I get those big natty daddies for 99 cents. That's unheard of in Louisiana. Craft Beer Pour says, I will sometime soon. Good. David Etchell says, the same drink, just different labels. Right. Now, let's see. Jesse is in New England, in New Hampshire, and he has, I'm going to get to you in a minute, Jean. Jesse has.
So, as you were saying backstage, before we started the broadcast, you're like, people may have misunderstood and thought that you had to get like a malt liquor type brew. Well, I understand you when you say a high ABV lager style beer. So I searched and I found something from Allagash Brewing Company out of Portland. It's called Two Lights. This is a beer brewed with Sauvignon Blanc must, fermented with lager and champagne yeast.
Well, you certainly have the unique product tonight.
A wine
And it
and
comes
beer
at
combination, right?
6.7% ABV.
Good and strong. Now Jean-Pierre has a Louisiana craft beer, a Helles Doppelbock. It is not. So you might want to mute it, because I think you're getting some echo. But he's got the.
Okay. How about now? Is that better?
We'll see, because I was hearing some rigmarole.
Yeah. Yes, I'm drinking the 8% Andy Gator, as I like to call it, Andrew Gator, Helles Doppelbock from the I.B.R.G Brewing Company in I.B.R.G Springs, Louisiana. First time I had this beer was 2009 at Dreamland Barbecue on OSHA Road in Mobile. And all I would say, when I left there, I was feeling very mellow and relaxed. So, and it was on draft, by the way. So, at that time, but I've had this beer before. Very enjoyable, Helles Doppelbock, and looking forward to trying it and giving my assessment of it this evening.
Jean, do y'all get those tall stovepipe cans over there?
I did see it at two locations, Rouse's and Walmart. The three Walmarts I've gone to, they don't have it there any longer, but Rouse's across the bay in Spanish Fort, Alabama has it.
Okay, because we've been getting those a lot. Okay, so I'm going to try this tonight, and I'll probably mess it up because I'm kind of absent-minded. I was hoping Craig Swenson, not Craig Swenson, although he's watching, and I wish he would join. Craig says Trader Joe's is a most unique, strong lager, simpler times. Ah, right. I'm going to read all the comments. I was hoping
John Nelly's backstage.
You want me to go backstage?
Okay, I see it now because I'm trying to look everywhere, No, it's on.
John, you're fine.
I was hoping Craig Samuels of Kent Beer Reviews would join us with an English lager, strong lager.
Good evening, John. How are you?
He was with us. Monday night. Okay, let me read the comments, and then we'll go back to comments later. Ronald Sutton says, from the home of Dean Martin, drinking Jenny Ice. Sorry, only 5.5. That's all right. Splintered X says natural father. David Shell says Wild Bill's IPA from Aldi. What I'm going to do is, if we start getting a whole lot of comments, I'll just post them on that little banner, so I don't have to read them all. Not to say I don't like reading them, but it gets to where it becomes heck. I'm going to try to go east to west tonight. If it doesn't work out, don't blame me. It's just my incompetence. Paul Robinson says, I got a 6-pack of the Carlsberg Elephant today with a new label and bottle design, so I know it's fresh. Backing it up with the PBR Extra 6.5. Cheers, guys. Oh, yeah. I've seen that new Carlsberg Elephant label. I would like to get it. Wild Bill. Okay. Jeremy says, dang, I'm late. Zachary June says, what is this stream about? It's about strong lager, Zachary. Now, Johnny Neely's in Georgia, and he has tonight.
I've got King Cobra malt liquor, 6% alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Had it many times over the years. 32-ounce glass bottle. It was $2.19, I think.
So Johnny Neely has a Helles Doppelbock, and he's got King Cobra malt liquor. You heard me, you know about that, and malt liquor, always malt liquor. Now, that was introduced in 1984, and David Etchell says, have any of you tried Belgian beer? Oh, yeah, we've all tried Belgian beer. All right, so we're going to go northeast to Bumpy Road Brewery Incorporated Empire, and he's going to talk to us about his unique product.
So this one is from Allagash, which is they brew Belgian style beers in the United States. So yes, to answer that last comment, But yeah, so it's brewed with Sauvignon Blanc must, fermented with lager yeast and champagne yeast, 6.7% ABV. It's called Two Lights, and I have the pint glass because that's proper for a bar.
Right.
So we pour it. It's got this very straw yellow color. It's very clear. It's not showing up clear on the screen really, but I can see through it perfectly fine. It's probably my lighting. It's got some nice white, kind of medium bubbled head. Kind of get like a musty grape smell. Little bit of a citrus note as well. I could smell on this for a bit longer to try to pick something else out, but that's pretty much what's hitting my nostrils up front. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drink it. I'll try to talk about it. We'll come back with the, of course, the scoring and stuff afterwards.
Okay. Some of y'all might remember back 10 years ago, New Belgium, when they were really trying to become super duper craft beer, but then they kind of dialed it back quite a bit lately. They probably were losing money, but they New Belgium had not New Belgium. What am I saying? What's the one from Coors?
Blue Moon.
Blue Moon, yeah. Blue Moon had the big 25.4 ounce bottles with the cage and the cork, and there was different expensive Belgian style wheat ales with different wines added. I don't think too many people tried them, but they were dynamite. But boy, if you drank that whole bottle, good grief. 9%, 9.2%, 9.5. But I remember,
Yeah, it's pretty big.
yeah, one was made with Chardonnay. And then they had that graffiti series, which was not as big of the bottles, and those were made with grapes. But I guess it just didn't catch on. But Subject Zero says, Ron, what are some types of beer? What are some beer types or brands more likely to turn someone belligerent?
I think drinking any of these would do that.
I think Natty Daddy would be a real good choice to start trouble at a party. What beers would you recommend for drinkers with a short fuse? Probably
Hurricane.
no. I would recommend something like Bud Select 55, which is like 2.9% alcohol, or water would be a good choice. Yeah, we have been known to drink and what did I say? I meant to say we have been known to taste beers with an exuberance, and then things could get elated, heated.
Interesting. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, interesting. That's a good terminology. Ronald says grapes and grapes don't mix well. They mix well with me. Like George Jefferson said when Wheezy told him, she said, beer and wine, that's a bad mix. He said, so are we, but we made it. Jeremy says, you guys are a trip. Keep it up. Okay.
Hey, Jay, real quick, can I get my score in right now and get my assessment, because it looks like I got something I got to be in about 6:45 or so, somewhere around 7 o'clock my time.
I have to ask the other members if they'll allow an emergency assessment. What do y'all say?
Anything for
Good.
God.
Okay. Real quick, my view of this beer, Anti-Gator. Again, what's the difference between this beer or Hurricane or Steel Reserve? I would say those beers use a lot of corn, a lot of syrup. This one, there's some semblance of it, but not much. A lot of very strong German hops in this beer. but you kind of get some not much, but a little similarity of maybe drinking a Hurricane and whatnot. But overall, this is a sip beer. You sip it. You don't guzzle it. You sip because of the amount of alcohol in this. And I had this in the freezer now for about good 10, 15 minutes, and it's very enjoyable right now when it's at this temperature. When it's warm, I say, or maybe maybe coming out of the refrigerator, I would be very cautious, guzzling this whole thing. When it's super cold, it's better. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and imagine covering the stovepipe can. It's 19.2 ounces. Imagine guzzling that. Oh no.
No. But again, as I was telling John, you came in. My first time having this was 2008 at Dreamland Barbecue in Mobile on O'Shell Road, and it was on draft, and it was delicious on draft. And again, I felt very mellow leaving there, having it on draft. So it is a good beer. People, if they really studied what these beers are about, there's some similarities. Well, no difference between this one or Hurricane High Gravity or Old English High Gravity, but because of the fancy labeling and how it looks, and people would probably be more in tune to buy this, at a social gathering than they would at a I don't know, maybe sitting there watching football on a Saturday afternoon. You're pounding, Hurricane, these would be more appropriate for a social gathering than Hurricane or OE High Gravity or Natty Daddy. But anyway, my score assessment of this beer, it is an A for me. That would be a 94 score.
Okay, and it's kind of like Olivia Newton-John. Have you ever been
mellow? Yeah. Yes.
All right. Oh, I shouldn't even be bringing up Olivia Newton-John, my old girl.
I know. She's prayers to her. Hopefully she makes a recovery. Yeah.
Right. But she made some tight little tracks. She made some good little songs now. All right.
Xanadu. I'm not so sure about the movie, but the song, But.
And I was very impressed by that dancing in Grease with the black outfit at the end of the movie.
Oh, now she had a body. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, she did.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking about her shoes. The heels were interesting.
I never got past her waist. Huh?
Folks, we do not. All right.
I was young. I was 14.
I stuck on the thighs. We got it.
All right. Now Sean's going to leave, so that's opening a slot. So Sean is.
I'm going to be leaving in about another 3 minutes. Let me I'll hear y'all talking. Then when I go, I'll go. So.
Okay. All right. Sounds fair enough. Because we got James waiting in the wings. James P. Madonna's waiting in the wings. All right. Now, Michael Cornwell's going to give us his assessment of his Producto.
Okay. This is what it looks like in the glass, and it's amber, dark orange color, very clear. Maybe there's a slight chill haze on it, but it's almost clear. You can see through the light. The head is very thin, off-white. Let me give it a nose. I'm just getting a really heavy maltiness in the nose. Nothing really more than that. Maybe a little caramel or toffee too. Let's give it. Should I give it a taste?
Sure. Why not? Go for it.
Has a very nice, very pleasant taste. You're getting the malt. You're getting the. I guess you say that the taste follows the nose. Caramel taste in it. The carbonation is not. It's nicely carbonated. This is more though. It's funny. This seems to me to be more Sierra Nevada than the Bitburger that they're supposedly collaborating.
Yes, I thought so too. Yes.
Because I'm getting kind of the Sierra Nevada profile in it. So you would not call this a typical German Oktoberfest.
No,
So that's what
I agree with that. It was a little bit peculiar, but you never had it before, huh?
No, I've never had it, but it is good. It's just different. If you're somebody who's used to having a lot of different Oktoberfests, I think you'd say that this is kind of like a hybrid almost. They're calling it an Oktoberfest, so I guess it is, but it's more like a hybrid than it is. The German Oktoberfest to me are more, they're malty also, but it's in a different way. It's hard to describe what I mean, I guess, but it's different.
Yeah, that's one more like a fest beer, and a lot of them are Martins, but that's a fest beer, I guess.
I guess this is more of a fest beer than a Marzen is what exactly Jay's saying. I agree with that. I'll come back with my score later.
Okay, now heading across the Hudson River into New Jersey, named after the island of Jersey off the coast of France, a British possession.
I'm sure it was a lot more pleasant than the one I'm living in. But anyway, I digress.
Well, I don't know. I've never been to Jersey, but I've been to the new version, New Jersey, and along US Highway 1, mostly stopping at interesting beer stores and Chinese restaurants.
Highway 1, that's the old I-95 before I-95 was built.
That's right. It was the interstate before they had the interstate.
That's
Now,
right. Oh, by the way, they only allow a maximum of 6 slots on this goose that laid the golden egg. What the hell is this called? Stream goose stream, whatever the hell.
Yard of Streams.
Yard stream. So they only allow, these programmers. It's like voice to text. You know what I mean? They're overrated. Anyway,
But you can pay extra and get more. Okay, so you have.
I have Hacker Shore Weiss wheat beer. Not the last time was the ale, but it was a different company. Hacker Shore wheat beer, and it's I had to round it off to 6% because anything mathematically, right? Anything 5 or over, you round it to the next number. I don't know what it is about Jersey. It's like 5.4% alcohol, 5.5%. I mean,
I bought some interesting beers in New Jersey, I got to admit.
yeah. I mean, can't they just come out with the big guns and be done with it? You know? Okay, all right. Hacker Shore, of course, they .us, hacker-shore.us. And this is my first time trying this particular wheat beer, but because it's unseasonably hazy, hot, and humid in early September 2019, and welcome September of this year, and also welcome after a long period of absence, Wildcard Wednesday. It's very hot and humid, so for some reason, wheat beers tend to be very refreshing when it's real hot, you know. So are certain, macros like Modelo and Rolling Rock and the other one.
I remember years ago, I-B.R.G Brewing of Louisiana made a wheat lager, and at first I didn't like it. Then by the time I started liking it, they discontinued it. Yeah, Hacker is an interesting company coming about from a marriage, but okay.
Now, who married into the beer business? The husband or the woman? Who had the established?
It's a good question, but I know that's where the two names came from: the Hacker and the Shore.
Well, it looks nice, orangey, and the head is really hanging in there since I poured it. It's got that burnt orange. Oh, Jean-Pierre is listening as he's driving. Okay. Hey, that's not bad. It's still, like I said before, the imported wheat beers that I've had blow away the nationally advertised ones like Blue Moons, but then again, I haven't had any of the American Craft Company wheat beers, but this is pretty good. It's not mild. I mean, it's a full-bodied flavor, mildly yeasty. Was that Uncle Fester? Uncle Fester from the Addams Family? What would you say?
Uncle Fest beer. Yeah, Uncle.
He said something before. Flashed. No, it's actually quite good. It's not, you know, weak like I've accused other beers of being, like Corona and many others.
Oh, that's cold.
Oh, I would definitely get this again. But my favorite, and I honestly don't remember if it was a wheat beer or not, was the very first ones I introduced that had a sweet floral aroma and flavor, like the Artissimus, that one I loved.
Oh, Aventinus.
Aventinus. I should write it on masking tape and place it on in the front of my PC. Aventinus was outstanding. I'm not sure if that was a wheat beer, but it was German. As far as wheat beers go, I'll give it a 97% out of 100.
Wow.
As far as wheat beers go, it's actually quite good. The other one was the other one was an ale. That was a wheat ale. The one, I think it was Schneider something or other.
Schneider Weiss.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking up Hack-Up Shore right here, and they're showing all their beers. They have Weiss beer, which is I think the one you have.
Oh, yeah. I'm only late because I entered the house late. I just pretty much got in. But
yeah, it's 5.5% alcohol, which would round up to 6. Water, malted wheat, malted barley, yeast, and hops. They use Hallertau Hercules and Hallertau Taurus hops. It's mild bitterness, balanced flavors. They say it's honey gold color, and I see that yours is honey gold. It's a delight with hearty Bavarian delicacies, but it also goes well with lighter dishes such as poultry and fish, they claim.
So if I had Bloodwurst and Knockwurst and Pinkelwurst and all the wursts in front of me, they're recommending this.
Yeah, and they make
it'd be good eating with the fried fish and a little tomato relish.
Well, I would use that real hot and spicy pico de gallo, they call it. It's a Spanish, Latin relish with a lot of hot peppers in it and onions and tomato.
Tomato relish is different. Ron should know what I'm talking about.
Tomato relish.
Yep.
No, I don't think I know what that is.
Up there in Shreveport and around Shreveport South, all through that section of Louisiana, you get fried fish, fried catfish, and hush puppies that always bring you a little bit of pinto beans in a bowl, and you'll have some tomato relish come to you on the side in the bowl. It's really good stuff.
That's awesome.
Well, you can always pour Tabasco on top of
whatever
you have anyway.
But Whiskey Scout, Robert, that could be more of a tri-state thing than what
it could be. Jeremy might know something about it. He's a little further.
They sell it here. They sell it Publix and a lot of grocery stores.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna go down. We're gonna go down to Georgia, and John and Ilya is going to tell us about King Cobra on the market.
Down to Georgia.
On the market for 35 years.
Who goes down to Georgia? He said, his shirt almost matches my background.
Right.
I think it does.
Yeah, if I was over there, I'd blend right in.
You'll just see your head.
In my head. So yeah, King Cobra. I love King Cobra. It's one of those beers that kind of got me started drinking beer. It's one of the reasons it's my avatar on my channel. It's a good malt liquor, good strong lager, light to medium body, good carbonation. You get that good barley malt, classic beer taste with a little bit of a hop bite. The alcohol is masked very well. I've enjoyed it for many years, and I think it's probably, if not my favorite, it's definitely top 3 malt liquors. And I will actually go ahead and give a rating just in case I have to drop off because it's going on 8 o'clock here, and I might have to drop off because I got home right before you started, and I think I need to start making a few calls before it gets too late. But
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and just say it's a 93 out of 100. It's right there, getting into the solid A range. It's definitely an excellent malt liquor. I know I rated it higher when I did my review way back, but my palate's changed a little bit, and I can't, in all good consciousness, give it a higher grade than some of the really good craft beers that I've had lately. So 93 out of 100, I think that's fair.
And like I say on the tagline, don't let the smooth taste fool you. Excuse me.
Right. That's right.
And you got a nice 40-ounce bottle. And in Europe, that would be called a Helles Bock.
Right. And one thing you, Ron, that would say, I'm not sure, but I think you mentioned on your channel before 1984, they had a Budweiser malt liquor, and you think that changed or developed into King Cobra. Is that correct?
That's my theory. I can't back it up, but I have some circumstantial evidence that seems to point that in that direction. In 1970, they came out with Budweiser malt liquor with a black label. It didn't sell well. They said, okay, we screwed up. We didn't make it strong enough alcohol, so they revamped it in 73 with higher alcohol. But you know how if you miss the boat, sometimes it's too late. And the interesting thing, though, about Budweiser malt liquor, it used no corn or rice. It was all malt, all barley malt. And they used to, and they used to promote that. But apparently the consumers either didn't understand what all malt meant, or secondly, they didn't care. So it just didn't catch on. And then they came out with King Cobra, which caught on like wildfire. So, and King Cobra always used rice and corn. It's not all malt. And apparently no one really cared. So it became like a very common product. And I saw King Cobra this very day. I could have bought it, but I chose to buy the Steel Reserve. So you're giving it a 93, and I know you have to go make calls, and we understand that. And,
actually, I will get off, but I would. I think I've heard everybody's rating except Michael. Oh, Michael
and me.
Oh, dang.
And Robert.
All right. Well, I'm gonna
go fast.
I will. Yeah. Just if I drop off quickly, no disrespect. But
Right.
I'll stay on as long as I can.
Right. When Craig dropped off Monday night, I said, why he just dropped off? He didn't say anything like, well, thanks for letting me be on to hang out, and I'm leaving now. I always say to myself, I like to always thank the people for letting me join. And
I'll go ahead and say thank you for letting me join because I might abruptly have to leave.
Right, John, I know he's preemptive. But I see a lot of that going on where people are in hangouts and they just disappear. And it always bothers me because I'm like, man, if I went to somebody's house, I would say like, well, thanks for letting me come to your house. I'm leaving now, but I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm funny
That's
with that.
like not offering coffee and cake after you give somebody dinner, like on the Seinfeld episode. You're supposed to offer coffee and cake. Well, anyway, or somebody sneaking out the back door.
Right, and that whole show was about being neurotic, and I'm kind of neurotic like that.
No, you're supposed to serve coffee and cake, unless it's a cultural thing.
Right.
Anyway.
Right, but anyway, so I'm going to say this beer, I'm enjoying it. I've been sipping it kind of slow because it's semi-sweet. It's got a grain flavor, like, cereal grains, beer. It's pleasant, it's smooth, it's surprisingly light-bodied for a 6% alcohol beer. And for $4.39 a 6-pack of pint cans, I'm thinking that I can't go wrong. And I know we got to get back to the Northeast. They're going to give us final ratings, but time is starting to become an issue with some of the participants. That's why I'm enjoying it. I'm going to come back with the rating, but it won't be long. But I'm enjoying it, and it's going to be high. And I've always liked the 6% Steel 6, as they used to call it. So I'm very pleased with it. And now Whiskey Scout has been waiting very patiently. He dissipated his natural father.
Well, I've been making notes as I go. It's got a light citrus note. You get a little bit of the sour grain that comes through in it. But there is an underlying sweetness that kind of sort of balances it out. But as it warms up, I have to admit the sourness kind of starts to overwhelm the palate on it as it's starting to get warmer and warmer. I've already drank everything but that little bit left in the glass right there.
Yeah, and that's not a beer that gets advantageous when it gets warm.
Yeah, no, this is no. There is a kind of a weird fake strawberry taste to it. I don't know if anybody else has ever got that.
Strawberry.
No. But it's just a little light fake strawberry taste that comes through. Now, I can't explain it, but I know certain aldehydes and stuff like that come through especially when you're brewing, like, not brewing, but distilling alcohols, for instance, like bourbons and stuff, and you can get cherries and different things. There is an aldehyde note that comes through that's captured, and when it does, it gives that faint strawberry note. Now, I don't know if it has to do with the 8% being a little higher. You do get just a touch of the alcohol with it as it warms up. You become more noticeable of the alcohol flavor as it gets warmer. Really, that's pretty much sums it up. I mean, it's a sessionable beer. If you smell it, you're smelling an average beer. I don't smell no different than when I would drink Natural Light or Bud Light or any of those others. It kind of comes across that same nose. It's just a typical lager nose. But anyway, but the sour note it becomes more prevalent as we get more into the beer. Now, I can go ahead and give it a score now. I don't have to think about it much longer. I've had Natty Daddy before. I don't know if I ever had the 6%. I may have and not realized it because I didn't pay attention to such things not too long ago. But it's an 80. It's not, an 80s may sound bad to some people. I don't know, but an 80 is good to me. It's a low B. It's a straight B. It's a B minus, I guess, if you look at it that way. But there's nothing really bad about it, and it is for what it is at 8%. You can take it to the lake. You can have a cooler full of them, sit there and catch some catfish, and drink a few beers, some ice cold beers, have a good time. And you're not going to – it's going to be just fine.
Eat fried catfish.
So,
okay, now I'm gonna give a little information which will last less than 1 minute.
Okay.
On the website, it says this 8% lager is brewed with the same ingredients as Natural Light. Ingredients: water, corn syrup. So to use actual corn solid and corn syrup, barley malt, rice, hops, hop extract, and malt extract. So that's the ingredient lineup.
High fructose corn syrup. What was that?
They don't say high fructose, and they're very careful about that. If it is high fructose, they'll indicate that it's just regular old corn syrup.
Like Caro's, that famous company in the supermarket.
K-Row, yeah.
K-Row.
Yeah, that's probably to help start the fermentation when they do the brewing. The sugar helps the malt start to develop.
Yeah, sort of like a primer.
Yeah.
Food for the yeast production.
Yes.
All right. Now, so Whiskey Scout is saying B minus, but for an ice chest full of ice cold Natural Fathers, Natty Daddy, it wouldn't be bad.
No, not. You go fishing on a 100-degree day, and it's 100 degrees when you get there that night on the gravel bar. You build you a fire. You got 4, 5, 6 Natty Daddies in there, 25 ounces.
Fire.
All you're going to do is be catching a few catfish and drinking some beer and kicking back and enjoying the night.
Okay. And
that's a good beer for that.
And that's a good description because that's exactly what it's designed for. It is not designed for deep speculative imagination.
You are definitely right, Ron.
And you can't really fault a product when it lives up to its designation.
Yep.
Okay, now going back to Bumpy Road, will you score yours?
Well, yeah, I didn't get to go to the flavors, and I appreciate you giving me time to actually drink on this, so I could drop down.
I apologize.
No. I appreciate it because it allowed me time to actually get more info from the beer. So I'll go to the flavors real quick. There's not a lot. And then I'll go right to my score, and you're going to appreciate my scoring. So from this one, for the flavors, I was getting kind of a cracker to grain from the grist. There's a slight white grape flavor in it. And then it has a citrus like finish, but it's like it goes into like this bitterness. So it's like a citrus bitterness in the finish. Kind of has a medium to like a higher side of light body to it. Medium carbonation, and there's just a very slight bit of dryness to the mouth. So for like my scoring comes down to some of those things I mentioned in the flavors, where it's something like this, especially where it had the champagne yeast. I would expect, and also being a lager, I would expect the body to be a little bit more light and crisp. This one's not like super crisp. I would expect more drying out of it too from the champagne yeast. So my overall score on the 2 lights from Allagash is an 88. I'm going to give this a B+.
So a very good beer, but not excellent.
Yeah, it just needs some of those tweaks, and I think that could push it up into the A range.
And does that beer tend to be rather expensive, or is it moderate priced?
I think I paid about $14 for a 4-pack, so it's kind of the moderate range. It's not bad.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
16-ounce cans, 4-pack. Yeah.
All right. Now, so you said B+. All right. Now, Michael's getting those numbers down. Now, Michael, what about your score for your beer?
I'm giving it a 90, which is
A-.
And I'm with you that it's definitely more of a fest beer than a Marzen. Even though an Oktoberfest doesn't have to be a Marzen, I guess. Both the categories probably are covered in it. But the fact that it looks like it's a collaboration would make you think it would be a Marzen. The only reason I was fooled.
Well, I'm not sure, but I think Bitburger has a tendency to make lighter bodied, lighter colored beers, But I don't know the whole Bitburger portfolio. We only get the Bitburger Pilsner. Now, I was doing that on Alcohol Legs. I don't know if anybody noticed, because people are busy. They have a life to live. But I was using that as an example. I posted a link to Grolsch, and I said, here's all the wonderful Grolsch beers we can't get. And then Ruku in England said, it's unreal. We can't get it either. You get one beer from Grolsch, which is Grolsch, the 5%.
I've seen
They
that.
make like a dozen more, and it's insanity, really. But I guess there's only so much water a bucket can hold. But it would be nice to try some of their other varieties, because they have so many. The Canyon, it's just, I don't know. And like Michael's saying, Bitburger, but I think Bitburger, Lowenbrau, et cetera, they make this huge variety, and we get like one, which kind of bothers me a little bit.
Hey, Ronald J. Not to change the subject, but all the commentary that appears, which I love the way it appears here on this program, are they coming from YouTube? The commentary?
Yeah, they're coming from YouTube, and I'm just clicking a little button, and it's showing them. It's making them show up, like Wayne Banks, and I think Wayne is from Louisiana. He says,
Beck's Oktoberfest. I had that one
I've
time.
never had that one. I've had Beck's before, but I've
I've
never
had
had Oktoberfest.
St. Pauli Girl.
it is a jewel. The Oktoberfest is a jewel. That's a company that was established in 1873. It's in northern Germany. They have it down pat pretty much.
Do you like St. Pauli Girl Dark or Warsteiner?
Warsteiner. I like Warsteiner better than I do St. Pauli's Girl.
Sure, I like
Warsteiner.
I like the St. Pauli Girl Dark, but unfortunately that was discontinued. But okay, Desert Drinkers. Hey, over there, Desert Drinkers. I watch his videos. I even have some in my watch later list. I haven't gotten to it. He said, I've been such a German beer fan as of recently. I'm a big fan of Warsteiner and their Oktoberfest. I know I've been watching your videos, Desert Drinkers, and you could jump on here and join us one day if you'd like. So let's see. We've got Jean-Pierre really liked his Andy Gator, and then John Neely liked his King Cobra, but he unfortunately had to get off because he was starting to get some calls. Michael Komarov thought his was at the lower end of excellent. Bumpy Road thought it was very good, but not excellent. James P. Madonna is very pleased with his. Very pleased. Very pleased.
Yeah, only for some reason, only when it's ice cold and very hot and humid. I like the wheat products. For some reason, but anyway, it's good. It's good.
It's not what we get it for.
If you like it, then it's good. Simple as that.
Well, if you like the wheat stuff, like in the warmer temperatures, look for like a wheat barley wine or a wheat wine, I guess it would be called. In like a colder.
Oh, in the cold,
temperature.
or maybe a Dunkel, right?
Yeah.
The Doppelbock is that an ale, a wheat ale?
A Doppelbock is usually a lager, but there are some ale Doppelbocks.
That was the other one I brought with the Aventura.
Aventinus.
Well, I got close. Aventinus. I brought a Doppelbock from Germany. That was the very first two from Germany that I brought when we did either a Thundering Thursday or a Fandango Friday episode. I brought those two, and they were good.
Ron, can I ask you a quick question? Have you ever seen you're more beer knowledgeable than me. Have you ever seen a Prince Henniger in the States?
Prince Henniger?
Yeah, I used to get that in Germany. I used to get the Prince Henniger Hefeweizen. That was my go-to beer in Germany. I mean, that was available everywhere in the area I was in, and I drank a heck of a lot of that. And I've just never seen it here in Canada.
Unfortunately, I've never even heard of it.
Yeah. No, I was just kind of curious. Ayinger, or however you want to say that, their Hefeweizen is very good. That's probably my second favorite Hefeweizen.
Yeah, Ayinger.
Ayinger.
I think that you guys need to try Dragon's Milk. It's magical.
Dragon's Milk. That sounds good.
Dragon's Milk's fine. I think we've all had it, haven't we?
I've had it. Yeah, it's a little thin, but I liked it.
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, talking about the original Dragon's Milk, I've had it. I thought it was a very decent barrel-aged stout for the price, especially. It wasn't too expensive.
Hey, speaking of stout, Jay, remember when I brought that, I think it was a Samuel Smith stout that had like all kinds of, had cocoa in it. It had like a whole...
Oh, yeah, the chocolate stout.
Yeah.
Chocolate stout. Yeah. I think that was Samuel Smith.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Yeah, that's a pretty famous beer there, boy. Hey, okay,
I didn't
get
hair in your wherever. That was pretty good.
Oh yeah, I need to do some revisits of Samuel Smith because it's been years, and I mean years since I've done a Samuel Smith beer, and that's a crime. Well, I'm gonna give my score, and my score for the Steel Reserve 211 high gravity 6% lager is
Oh boy.
I'm delaying it because I was going to post it. A 94 out of 100.
All right.
I know that's a little high. I guess it's a little high, but like James P. Madonna's talking about, it's really hot out here. It was 96, 97 today. It's going to be 97 tomorrow.
Well, you're in the Gulf Coast, you're in Louisiana, so you're used to this.
I'm used to it, but when I go cut the grass tomorrow, I'm going to sweat. Well, it's a good place to go if you want to lose weight using the temperature outside.
This guy doesn't look too happily married when he had this portrait done. This Mr. Shore. He looks pretty pretty henpecked.
Well, yeah, but he had to sit there for 6 hours while they painted him.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right about that.
Maybe he drank so much beer. Maybe he drank so much beer he had to go to the bathroom and they weren't letting. But
So, like Ben Franklin, it would look pissed off with $100 bill. Right? Look at his face.
right, I'll admit that 94 out of 100 is a little high for Steel Reserve 211 6%. But most viewers of my channel have never had the 6%, and so they'll always say, "Oh, I've had Steel Reserve, it's nasty." And I say, which one are you talking about? Oh, the 8.1. I said, well, what I have is a different animal, and it's smooth. There's no off flavors whatsoever. And I can get a 6-pack for $4.39 plus tax. And I'm talking about pint cans now, tall cans. And I think $4.39 for a 6-pack this day and age of the tall cans is not a bad deal for a pleasant product. But that's the way I feel about it.
Yeah.
When you cut the grass, don't forget to put citronella oil. You're going to get eaten up alive.
No, we haven't had too many mosquitoes in the last 5-6 years. I think we're surrounded by a lot of chemical plants, and something's up.
Chemical plants. What are they?
Yeah, they all moved to my house because I'm getting eaten alive right now.
Well, they do come up and down the street spraying for mosquitoes, and I don't really see a lot of mosquitoes anymore. It's weird. It's kind of like one of these science fiction movies where something goes wrong and you say, "What's up with this?" And then by the time you realize it's too late. But
Picking up a lot of bat houses if you have trees for it.
Germans are poisonous with their beers.
but I'm gonna cut the grass at like 10 o'clock in the morning. 10:15 is gonna be.
You're fine. You'll be fine.
Oh, it'll be hot, and I'll be sweating like a pig. But the grass will cut real easy because when it gets that hot and dry, the grass cuts like no
When it's dry, yeah, sure. Do you well normally this time of year all the lawns are burnt. It's all like hay, but not in the past few years. It's been
No.
right through.
No, mine's green.
In Kansas, we're usually dry through August, late July through August. You might get 1 or 2 rainstorms. I've had to pick broken branches from storms out of my yard once a week from the trees. I mean, it's just amazing. I have to cut my grass once a week where I'm usually on about a 10-day rotation.
Save them for the barbecue. That dry wood.
No, elm ain't going to help the flavor of your barbecue.
Oh, you mean the smoke from elm is not too good?
No,
Okay.
there's only a few trees. Any oak you can use, any hickory, mesquite, any of the flavored wood. Your apples, your peaches. Those are all great woods to use. But like cottonwood, elm, those aren't good woods to use. They're acrid. They're not very. They don't add a lot of flavor.
I've been getting away with cutting my grass. I've been getting away with cutting my grass about every 8 days, but I think in September I'm gonna try to go for 10 days because I think it's gonna just the angle of the sun will start making the grass grow slower.
Yeah.
Do a booze review while you're cutting the grass.
Yeah, right. I'll be right back. I'm going to show y'all something.
And then, he might slip under the blade. Yeah, no, I forget about that idea.
See, up here in the north, you want at least 2 feet of grass before the snow falls.
Oh God, digging your car out of. Oh, I don't even want to think about it.
I got a 0-turn mower. You whip on that baby, she'll spin you around in a New York second.
Now, let's see. Lee. Oh, here's the Matt and Dana pickle smoked sausage. I've been eating a little bit.
Let me see. Pickle
like
smoked sausages.
Yeah, pickle smoked sausage. It's making me want to eat one right now.
If it's high,
Yeah, that sounds good.
It's good for you.
So that's ready to eat right out of the jar. You don't have to cook it.
Nope.
It's already cooked, but I heat it up, of course. But
I wouldn't heat it up.
it smells like smoked sausage and vinegar.
Yep.
It is.
Sausage vinegar, then you get a pickled egg, flop that out.
My grandfather used to bring huge jars of pickled pig's feet at home. I love them.
No, I don't do that one. No.
You can eat everything on a pig except the oink.
Yeah, I have a good friend that likes pickled pig's feet, but not me. I
I
got to draw that line somewhere.
I'll eat the face off of a pickled pig's head. You know,
Lee Russell says no such thing as a Doppelbock ale. I realize that, but yet you've got companies like Rogue selling dead guy ale, but they say it's a Doppelbock. And then you got I was just looking at this. Then they've got Marzen, and I was saying they have some Marzens that say that they're an ale, which I thought Marzen was a lager. He says, nonsense. You might be thinking of Baltic Porter, which can be an ale or lager. Otherwise, a Doppelbock recipe with ale yeast is a different animal. That's right. It's not.
I like Lee's profile photo. He could be a character actor in many movies. And he actually.
Did you see Cole Carey's? Ron, look at Cole Carey's comment.
Okay, I'm trying to get down to that. It says Huckleberry Huck says, "What's up, Ronald?" John Anile says, "Actually, Lee, Doppelbock is a style recognized by BJCP." No, but I think his contention was that it can't be an ale. He wasn't saying it wasn't a style. Cole Carey says, "Ron, I just I talked to the brewmaster of Steel Reserve about your 94 score. He said, seriously?" Johnny says, okay, I see your point, Lee. So there was a little confusion there. All right, so yeah, generally a Marzen or a Fest beer or a Doppelbock is going to be a lager. But I noticed that St. Arnold, no, take that back. I noticed that Shiner in Shiner, Texas, Bethel Brewing is selling their Oktoberfest beer, and they say it's an ale. Hey, look, I'm just drinking it. I'm not making it.
Ale?
Yeah, the dead guy ale is a and I was gonna pick that up because I'm like, oh, it's a Maybach, it's a lager, and I'm like, wait a second, it says right on the freaking can, it's dead guy ale. I'm like, what am I thinking? That was my first go-to.
Right, that's always got me uproar. Yeah. You know, like I always get confused by that. Like, what is it? Is it a lager or an ale? And so I don't know.
Yeah, it says on the back. I even had to read the back just in case the name of it was wrong, and it did say that it's an ale for that one. I was gonna get a Baltic Porter because that was my first thought. I'm gonna throw everybody off because everybody's gonna think a porter is an ale. It's and there's no. I couldn't find a Baltic Porter on the shelf.
Man, we can get the Baltica, but it's so out of date. I never buy it. That store that I can buy it from lets stuff stay on the shelves in perpetuity. So it's sickening. All right.
Now the Polish porter, Zivich, or whatever
Zivich, I think Zivich is a Baltic porter, which, like you're saying, it could be a Baltic porter, could be an ale or a lager, but I think the Zivich Baltic porter is a lager. And that's a jewel, boy. That thing is so good.
Well, the Sapporo Black, the Japanese lager, Sapporo Black lager is outstanding.
Oh, boy, you said it.
Sapporo Black, yeah.
You said it. Well, Michael Komarov, you've been listening. And what, you got any final comments?
No, I thought everything went really well. And I do like Jesse's idea about October being beers of that season, of that exact month that you would drink. That's a great idea.
Excellent idea.
It can be a lager, it can be an ale,
pumpkin ales
for the season.
Just whatever beer, whatever beer we like to drink in the fall season. And I know with me, I like drinking the pumpkin beers, and I do. You can laugh, but I like drinking pumpkin beers.
I make the pumpkin sourdough pancakes, so it come out good with pumpkin beer. Maybe I should have pumpkin beer to that mixture.
Pumpkin spice pancakes are great. I don't know about the beer part.
Yeah, I'm only making jest.
Well,
sometimes they can be overspiced.
I do plan to buy some pumpkin beers, but I haven't seen many.
I'll be good tonight.
The only pumpkin beer I've seen so far is the Blue Moon, but I like that one. So
really,
Oh, speaking of blue,
Here we got every single one that they make is on the shelves. It came out in August. It's like boom.
Not here. Pumpkin beer went down the drain in Louisiana. Now, 6 years ago, you'd have been drowning in it. Now, you got to look for it. Oh yeah.
I posted a video, Jay. I was just at Whole Foods. I posted a video on my Facebook group. Everything is food of blue pumpkins. I thought they were green, but they called them blue pumpkins. I've never seen this variety before. You learn something new, like
Right.
constantly. You never stop learning. And I took a video and I put it on there, and oh, the urban okra plants are getting huge, and there's big okras on them. That somebody planted okra on the side street right by the curb, right where cars are parking, and there's like big ass okras emerging from this.
When they get that big, they're not too good. You want to get your okra when they're kind of young. You want to pick them that 3 to 4 inch range. That's when they're best to pick and eat. Personally, I mean,
and James, you know how they make the blue pumpkins? When they're growing, they put a rubber band around the stem. It cuts them off from oxygen. They turn blue.
Oh, like
You're kidding. You're kidding, Bumpy.
Are you busting my cube? Hey, you're busting my cubes.
That's pretty funny.
That's pretty good.
Oh, that's wild.
That's what my brother-in-law's red-tailed boa constrictor is going to do to him when it becomes 12 feet long. I told him, he says, "Oh, look at my adorable little Annie. Isn't it sweet? You know, it's young." I said, "Yeah, wait until it's 12 feet long."
The problem with the new Glarus that Andy's talking about is you can only get it in Wisconsin. I picked a 6-pack up of New Glarus when I came back to Kansas this summer, but nobody else is going to see it but Wisconsin.
Right, because we can't get it. All right, now look. I want to say tomorrow morning at 5:30 Central Time, 6:30 Eastern, I'm going to try to do a taste challenge with Woodford Reserve versus the original single barrel Blanton. So it's Blanton's Bourbon versus Woodford Reserve.
I tell you who's going to win.
Blanton's.
Now the Emerald Mystic should not interrupt that, or do you think the Emerald Mystic should really be a disturbance?
Well, I mean, I can't control what these occult beings do. You know, they just show up.
Okay. All right. Okay. If he comes in my dream, I'll tell him use discretion. I'll tell him if he comes in.
I think you're wrong, Desert Drinkers. His palate's much different than mine.
Desert Drinkers.
I don't think Woodford Reserve is going to win. But, you know, I made a lot of statements in those bourbon taste challenges that are going to cause a lot of anger and make me lose a lot of friends.
Well, no, you don't cause anger. Because what you get versus what everybody else is getting is what appeals to your palate. Your palate's not my palate. And Blanton's is a single barrel, so it changes bottle to bottle. Woodford Reserve is remarkably similar down the line. So in your Woodford Reserves, I like Woodford Reserve about 200 mil. I buy one of those probably once, sometimes twice a year. That's all I want, but I want it when I want it. Blanton's, on the other hand, I can have a little pour Blanton's here and there. I haven't opened my new bottle yet, and I was kind of wondering, when you get around to doing something, maybe me and you could do a comparison, you know?
Yeah, because I have a 5-year-old bottle. Hey, Flacco, look, I got into a big argument this morning with a Budweiser salesman. He got so angry. I said, why would somebody get so angry over something so trivial? But he just got so angry, and I just kind of laughed. I couldn't stop laughing. And somebody was saying, oh, you made him mad. I said, well, he started it.
Tell him I said it's not the king of beers. It's all delusion. Tell him James said so. You're delusional.
But we didn't get in a fight about Budweiser. At least
okay.
He was telling me, he was in there. He seemed like he was irritated about something, like his people were not doing their work. So he says, oh, hello. And he was saying stuff. I said, well, I did a bourbon taste challenge yesterday. He said, oh, yeah, what bourbons? I said, oh, I just did Jack Daniel's Green Label, the number 7 versus Blanton's. And I didn't say anything else. And then a minute went by, and he says, oh, well, you know, Jack Daniel's is not a bourbon. I said, oh, boy, here we go.
Yeah, you're going to have people that follow that line of thought.
I knew it was going to be a big fight. And then he just kept going on and on. I said, well, it is a bourbon. And he got so angry. He said, the company doesn't call it a bourbon. I said, that's not, I said, the company calling it something is not a legal definition, okay? I said, let's look over there at Miller Lite. They call it a fine Pilsner beer. Does that mean it's a Pilsner because Miller Lite calls it a Pilsner? And he said, that's no kind of way to argue. I said, no, I'm using your logic. And he kept getting angrier. He said, it's a Tennessee whiskey. I said, I understand that. I said, you're not telling me anything I don't know. And then he just kept getting angry and angry. I said, look. I said, okay, let's put it. I said, I'm going to put it to you like this. You tell me what is a bourbon. And he said, no, you tell me. I said, oh, no.
Yeah.
No. I said, you made the contention. You have to supply the documentation. And I said to myself, he ain't going to tell me because he doesn't know.
Well, and, you know, the Tennessee whiskey, that flies really good until you see Virgin Bourbon 101, for instance, charcoal mellowed. There's several bourbons out there that on the label from Kentucky say charcoal mellowed. So tell me the difference between the charcoal mellowed bourbon and the Tennessee whiskey, other than maybe they're not running it through 10 foot of maple charcoal. I mean,
and I know what you're saying, and not to mention that filtering is not germane to the legal requirements.
No, it has nothing to do with on the bourbon end of things. Now, the Tennessee whiskey, if you're going to call it Tennessee whiskey, it does have to go through the Lincoln County process.
Right, but I don't live in Tennessee. I'm not under that law.
Right, but I'm just saying, you know.
Right. I understand that. But he got so angry. He got so angry. He says, "It's hard to talk to a person who's ignorant."
When you educate people, you should put the black graduation hat on the top, with the top.
Yeah. I said, I agree with that. I said, I don't know who you're referring to. And then he says, he said, that's why your YouTube channel's going downhill because you're a jack of all trades and you're a master of none.
It's not going downhill.
He told me I was a jack of all trades and a master of none. I said,
he's
look,
a master of baiters.
I'm master debater. I can debate with anybody. And I said, I didn't get angry at all. I just found it so comical. He said, I've been drinking bourbon way longer than you, and I've drank way more bourbon than you. I said, I'm impressed by that, and I admire it. I said, but yet, nonetheless, that doesn't back up your argument. So I wasn't going to back down. I never back down on stuff like that.
No. You got to keep in mind, there is a hardcore bourbon mindset. Those guys, and when you delve into the hardest of the hardcore bourbon mindsets, if it doesn't come from Kentucky on that bottle, it doesn't qualify for a bourbon. That we have bourbons made in Kansas, Texas, you name it. But for the hardcore bourbonite, it's got to be made in Kentucky, even though that's not a requirement. In their heads, it really is, and it's really funny how they argue that point.
I'm gonna jump in real quick. I'm gonna be heading off, so I want to thank Ron.
Later, Bumpy.
We're going to shut down the whole thing, Bumpy. We're about to shut down the whole thing. I was just bringing up that point because when you get into styles and classes, people can really flip out. Now, Lee Russell brought up an important point, and I agree with what he was saying, but yet there are beer companies that don't follow that guideline, so the bottom line is, does it taste good? And if it does, the other stuff doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
Yep. And as a home brewer, there's actually, that's the cheat, is to use an ale yeast to make something that resembles a lager and not have to actually do the whole lagering process. And unless you're taking it to competition, your friends will probably never know the difference.
That's true.
Right, you're right. Well, I appreciate you joining us, and I appreciate everybody joining us. I think we had a good hangout.
Ron, all your defenders are out.
My defenders are. I called in my troops. No,
The great thing with StreamYard is anybody could join. I mean, you don't have to have a Gmail account like before with Hangouts.
right. All you gotta do is click the link, and you're in like Flint. Well, I think that's the bottom line. Really, the bottom line. Style is important. It's interesting to talk about style, and it's important. But really, the bottom line is, does it taste good? Somebody was angry at me because I said that Sam 76 wasn't really that good. I said it was very dull to me, dull. He said, well, he was angry because I said that Genesee Cream Ale had a better flavor. And he said, well, you know, Genesee cheats. And he went through these technical details of how they cheat to get a cream ale. I said, well, that may be true, but it still tastes better. You know, so.
Yeah, it's $4.50 for 6 bottles.
Right. So, I mean, cheating is fine if the final result is good. We're not talking about like, you know, it's just a beer. Or maybe I'm missing something point there or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody has, some people have the same palate, but you know, there's multiple beers out there. Some people like certain beers. Some people dislike the same beer that somebody thinks is a great beer. It's, you know, everybody's point of view, their opinion. So
yes, and
you like what you like, you dislike what you don't, you know.
Right. I tried to enjoy Sam 76, but every time I tried it, it just seemed so dull. And I said, well, heck, I can get a dull beer for $1. And but that set a lot of people off. They said, no, you're attacking Samuel Adams. I said, if you look at all the beer reviews I've done for Samuel Adams beers, I bet you the average score is an A or an A-. So even that argument doesn't hold water because I've always said their beers were good. I mean, not great, but good. So anyway, I never go bumpy road, but it's like Jack Daniels. If I say the word Jack Daniels, people's eyes roll back in their head. They run across the room and tell me, I just want to let you know I hate Jack Daniels. I said, well, I wasn't even asking that question. But there's certain products, if you say the product, they'll flip out. In music, if you say Grateful Dead, you could be at a wedding reception and say, oh, yeah, my uncle saw the Grateful Dead in 1969. They'll run across the hall and say, I hate the Grateful Dead. I said, well,
I hate wedding DJs. Wedding DJs are very lame. Anyway.
Yeah. So if you say Budweiser, people go into a seizure episode, and they really get crazy. Get pretty crazy. All right. Well, Bumpy Road, I know you got to go. I'm about to get out of here because I should be watching the Astros game. Not the Astros. What am I saying? The Rangers and the Yankees. But that could be a fiasco.
Oh, they're on tonight? Oh, good.
You just make sure you watch the right game they were on.
I will.
But I want to thank you for having me on again, and it was great seeing you, Whiskey Scout Robert, Michael Kormeroff. Always great to see you, and the newcomer to me, James P. Madonna.
Bumpy Road. I can tell you're all right. You're a great guy because you're an old school physical trainer. I can see you push.
Oh no, yeah, no, I'm just fat now. But thank you. Cheers, guys, and I'll catch you later.
All right, bye. Now, to close out this interesting episode of normally it's Wildcard Wednesday, but tonight it was Strong Lagers. The next month it's Bumpy Road. I'm going to call it Bumpy Road's Fall Beers because he came up with the idea. You got to give credit where credit's due. We're going to have a musical selection from the impresario of New Jersey, James P. Madonna.
Well, Bumpy, the pumpkins were very bumpy that I videoed. So why not Bumpy Road?
All aboard.
R, you have just departed our informative pirate ship. Good night, everybody.
There's pretty much nothing else I can say now. Thanks, folks, for watching this video production. And that's